Yo, yo, yo. Let's get to it. What's going on with y'all? Let me know if y'all can hear me. Drop a one in the chat. Drop a one in the comments if you can hear me. Can y'all hear me? Am I coming through clear? Am I coming through clear? Somebody let me know. Am I coming through clear? Am I coming through clear? Let me know. Can you hear me? Let me know if y'all can hear me, man. I want to make sure y'all can hear me. Can y'all hear me? Am I coming through clear? Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Okay, Tip Soul that I see. We live. I mean, so, yeah, oh boy. Yeah, we had to work today. Yeah, so what couple things is, look, right? You know, I'm going to do a free class this Sunday, right? DM me SBS, right? Comment. What's good? Yes, you loud and clear. That's what I like to see. Right? So I'm going to get straight into it, right? But today, what I'm going to break down, right, is really how you can get 100K in funding, right? How you can get actual $100,000 in funding. This is Free Game Friday. I'm going to give you a $100,000 game. Easy, right? And I'm going to break everything down. But one of the most important things I want you to understand is that for us to expound upon the information, just understand that, right, I'm doing a free class this Sunday. Now, in the class this Sunday, I'm going to expound on some data points, how we really make it happen, the ins and outs of like the actual sequences and funding sequences and things of that sort, right? But understand this, right, that, my job today is to give you some dangerous information. See, the reason why this information is dangerous is it's something that you need to handle with caution. It's kind of how like when you get access to certain medicine bottles or certain things, right? And like on the medicine, there's a caution. You want to do with that information. You want to handle it with caution, right? Because everything I'm going to break down is really how you can get up to $100,000, funding, right? And I'm going to give you straight game, all free game, right? So call it Free Game Friday. And I'm going to start doing this every single Friday, Free Game Friday for sure, right? So a couple of things is, right, when it comes to, getting access to capital, right? And, there's some application details that you want to make sure that you follow when it comes to certain data points. So I talk about it, right? So one of the things I want you to figure out, right, and I want you to know, right, is like when you go to do applications, right, and this is for like personal funding, and it can also be for business funding, but usually when you're doing personal funding, and I talked about this the other day, but one of the key components is something called stability, right? If you're following right now, drop stability in the chat, right? It's called stability, right? So now, a couple things is when you're going after certain banks, like let's say Discover. When you're going after certain banks like Discover is a bank that they will ask you for 4506Ts. They will ask you for tax returns. They will ask you for sometimes documents, right? So when you're going after Discover or like a car like American Express on the personal side, when you're going after American Express on the personal side or Discover on the personal side, a couple things that you want to do is like, let's say you're going after American Express or Discover. We talking about, and this is for personal funding, right? So Amex, or Discover, right? For your income, right? For your income, right? And hopefully y'all can see that, man. For your income, right? For your income, you don't want to put more than $75,000 down for your income. So now, if you make more than that and you can prove that you make more than that, then for sure, right? Put it down because you can show it. If you got the 4506Ts, you got the documents that you can show it, then make sure you do that, right? But if you don't have the documents to show that you make more than $75,000 for like an American Express or Discover, because we understand that certain banks are going to be prone to ask for certain documents, tax returns, 4506Ts, then you want to play in a safe realm, right? So for American Express and Discover, for my income, I'm going to put 75K, for a year. 75K for the year, right? For American Express and Discover. Now, when I'm going after banks like, let's say, Navy Federal or certain credit unions, right? Let's say Lightstream or certain banks that I'm going for on the personal side, when I'm doing my income, I want to be anywhere from, 97K, right, to 147K, right? Because I understand that certain banks like Lightstream, certain banks like Navy Federal, some of these banks, they're not going to ask you for 4506Ts. They're not going to ask you to ask you for those type of documents. So when you understand they're not going to ask you for those type of documents, right? Then this is where you start to understand that certain banks, because they're not going to go into asking for those documents, you can play the game, right? So the difference is that with, if it's American Express or Discover, like I said, right, boom, 75K. But if I'm going after Navy Federal, if I'm going after some of the other banks that we can get access to capital on the personal side, I'm going to do anywhere from 97,000 to 147,000. That's a safe place. It's a safe haven, right? Where these banks are not going to ask you for tax returns, 4506Ts, bank statements, and things like that, right? So it's just understanding, right, certain safe havens. Now, when it asks you for length of time at your job, you want to put 5 years or more. When it says, hey, how long you been at your job? I've been at my job 5 years or more, right? When it asks you, how long have you lived at your residence or your address? You also want to do 5 years or more, right? The problem that I see is too many times when people fill out applications, they will do 5 years or less on job, 5 years or less on where they stay at. And what you don't understand is that you're basically looking very unstable to banks, right? So these are some of the data points, and make sure you jot this down. This is all free game, right? So when you're doing an application, hey, look, length of time that you've been at your address, 5 years or more. Right? Hey, how long have I been in my job? Look, 5 years or more. Right? Now, like I talked about the other day, when it comes to your job or your employer, a couple things that you want to do when you do 5 years or more for your job. What's really, really important, right, is also putting that you work at your job. So whatever your job, your company is, making sure you do a upper level management position, right? You want to do an upper level management position. Now, why do you want to do upper level management? Because typically in upper level management positions, they make more money. They typically make 100,000, 125,000, 150,000, right? Sometimes up to 250,000, they can make in an upper level management position. But if you're a janitor and you go and put on the application, hey, janitor, right? We agree that janitors make anywhere from $30,000 to $50,000 a year. So you got to understand when you're doing applications is understanding what our underwriters going to look at when they look at these applications and see, certain things in terms of where you work at. So whatever your company is that you work at, put an upper level management position if you want to get access to the bag. See, my job is just to give you, game on how you can get access to that bag. That's my whole game, right? Now, let's say you work for your business, right? So when you structure your business out, what's very important about structuring your business is you want to structure your business as a profile. So your business should have what? A business phone number. It should have a business address. It should have a business email, right? It should be in a non-risky industry. And you also want to make sure you list your business on listyourself.net. So let's run through that, right? So business phone number, 1-800 number. You can get that at culture.com, CALLTURE.com, culture.com, right? Business email, IONOS.com. You can get a business email for $1 a month, INS.com. Okay. Now, when it comes to industries, right, I would do something like this. I would do something like, whatever your last name is. So if my last name is Brown. So Brown Solutions, it could be Brown Incorporated. It could be Brown Enterprises, but you don't really want to give your LLC an industry, whether that be culture, CALLTURE.com. Right. So when you're setting up your business, you don't want to put it in an industry like real estate or carrier services or, logistics, trucking. All of those things are very risky to banks. Okay, so what is a proper business structure? One, making sure your name is not risky, right? And that deals with something called an NAICS code. So when you're setting up your business, what happens with your business is that they will put it into a certain industry and it will get a certain NAICS code. That code is very important because it can give you access to a higher size of funding or a lower side of funding, depending on how you structure your business and what industry that you put your business into, right? So it's very important. One, we don't have a risky name. Two, we get our EIN number from irs.gov, right, for free. Three, you set up a business phone number. A business phone number should be a 1-800 number or 188. So either 1-800 or 188 number. What's next? Business email. It should be at yourcompany.com. So if mine is Brown Solutions LLC, it's going to be info@brownsolutions.com, support at brownsolutions.com, something of that sort. So that's setting up the business email, business phone number, the name, the EIN number, because it needs to have an employee identification number, right? It needs to have a non-risky name, right? Business phone number, business email, right? We got that. And what's next? Okay, you want to list your business in listyourself.net. So now, once you've done that with your business, now let's say you're owned by your business. When you're doing a personal funding application, don't go onto the application and say, oh, self-employed. Because that's an automatic way for you to get denied. Do not put self-employed. So what you want to do is you want to put that you're employed by your business, right? So it might ask you for your name, your phone number, your email, your address, right? Hey, how long you been at this address? Oh, 5 years or more. Then it's going to say, okay, where do you work? If you have a business and you're a full-time entrepreneur, a full-time business owner, never put self-employed. Never put self-employed. So what you do is you put employed, and then when it comes to, hey, well, where do you work at? You put the name of your business. When they ask for the business email, for the address, you put your business address. Now, when it comes to your business address, make sure that when you're setting up your business, you do a brick and mortar address for your business. You can go to Regis.com. I think Regis is pretty good to go and get your business address. Another hack to getting a business address is you can go to, you can Google Secretary of State. You can Google Secretary of State in like whatever state. So if you live in Florida, Georgia, Baltimore, whatever state that you're in, you Google registered agent in your state. And when you Google registered agent in your state, you can actually get a business address, right, and get a registered agent. So, and what a registered agent is someone who's basically a point of contact, right, for mail and for your business. So you get a registered agent, you Google registered agent in your state, and you can get a business address pretty cheap, or you can go to Regis.com and get a business address. You follow what I'm saying? So now we have a phone number, 1-800 number, email @yourcompany.com, right? We have a business address, right? And we have a name that's non-risky. Now, why would you want to do that? Because instead of saying that you're self-employed, because why do you not want to be self-employed? See, when you think about banks are based upon what? Stability. So think about it. If you go to a bank and say, yo, I'm self-employed, that means that your money is volatile. You don't look like someone who's getting a check every week or every 2 weeks. So you don't want to look like that. So even if you're a full-time business owner, you say, look, hey, here's my name, my phone number, my email, my address, right? Hey, where do you work? You put your business name, you put your business phone number, business email, business address, right? And then for your position, you could be president of sales, director of sales. You could be anything, but still make sure you put an upper level management position. These are very key points when it comes to filling out applications, right? And going for, the bag. And this is all for personal funding, right? Now, a couple things that is very important, right, is that you want to make sure, right, that when it comes to like your rent or mortgage, okay, if you have a mortgage payment, put whatever your mortgage is on the actual application, because the underwriter can see if you have a mortgage and how much you pay on your mortgage, right? If you're renting, do anything from $700 to $1,100 if you stick to the 97 to 147 income rule. Now, if you go above that, let's say you go 250, 265, anything of that sort, I would kind of go to the $1,000, $1,500 range when it comes to rent, right? But what I want you to understand is that if you're doing the 97 to 147 for income, and remember for American Express and Discover, because they're going to ask you for tax returns and bank statements or 4506Ts, we want to do $75K a year. But from 97 to 147, your rent should be anywhere from $700 to $1,100. This is what you're putting down as data points, right? Now, what's very important when it comes to funding? There's certain bank rules, right? There's certain bank rules. Forgive me, right? Certain bank rules. So there's certain rules that you need to understand when you're going through these sequences when it comes to certain banks. So one of the rules that's very important is Bank of America. See, Bank of America, BOA, has what is called a 2-3-4 rule. 2-3-4 rule. Now, what is the 2-3-4 rule? The 2-3-4 rule says this, right? That you can get 2 credit cards in your first 3 months. You can get 3 credit cards in your first 12 months, and you can get 4 credit cards in total. 4 credit cards in total. So why is this important if I'm doing personal funding? Check this out. Because if I don't have Bank of America credit cards at all, let's say I don't have any Bank of America credit cards at all, I can get 2 in my first 3 months. So what that means is that you can go to Bank of America, right, online. Right now, I would suggest having a personal relationship with Bank of America, having a personal bank account with Bank of America. But, me personally, I was able to get $17K from Bank of America with no bank account at the time. Right? So you can still get a nice limit on the personal side with Bank of America. Now, with Bank of America, because they have a 2, yeah, I see. I understand it. I know. Yeah, that's the whole point, to make sure you tap in. Listen to me. Right? So, and I do need to fix that. How would I fix that? Oh, I had to probably flip it over to the other side. But I ain't about to do that right now because I'm already tapped in, right? So what happens is this, right? when you talk about BOA, right, and it's the 234 rule, if you've never got any credit cards with Bank of America, if you never got any credit cards with BOA, right, and even though it's on, I don't even got it right, I just taught y'all. 234 rule says that if you don't have no accounts, no credit cards with them, you can get 2 credit cards in your first 3 months. So that means you can go to bankofamerica.com, you can pull up, 2 applications at one time and get only 1 inquiry on your Experian. Now, why would I do that? Because I understand the 234 rule. I understand that Bank of America gives me 2 credit cards in my first 3 months, 3 credit cards in my first 12 months, right? And I can get 4 credit cards in total on the personal side, right? Right? So it's called a 234, right? Right? The 234 method, right? So this is very important. Now, why is this so important? Because think about it. If I have no credit cards at Bank of America, I can go online right now. I would suggest having a bank account, but I can go online right now, go to bankofamerica.com. I can pull up a cash rewards card, right? And I can pull up another credit card. Now, the thing that's so crazy with Bank of America credit cards right now is that you'll get 0% interest for 15 months on the personal side. 0% interest for 15 months on the personal side. So that means you can go in right now, do an application with Bank of America, get 2 credit cards, right, at one time, and get 0% interest for the first 15 months. So imagine getting 2 credit cards at the same time, 1 application, 1 inquiry on Experian, but now both of those cards give you 0% interest for the first 15 months, right? Now, there's other rules like, okay, Chase. Chase has something called a 524 rule, right? Now, the business credit cards don't really apply to the 524 rule, right? But what that basically says is this. If you've gotten more than 5 credit cards in over a 24-month period, so in a 2-year period, if you have more than 5 credit cards, Chase will automatically deny you for a credit card application, right? Now, to avoid this, you want to go for some of that business credit card products, and Chase also pulls from Experian as well. But if you're dealing with Chase, going for the Chase Freedom or the Chase Sapphire is pretty good because you also get 0% interest right now on the Chase Freedom or the Chase Sapphire. But the reason that you want to do that, right? It's about to re-up my Bank of America Monday already, bro. Right? But the reason that you want to do that is because with Chase, you can go and do a credit card with them, right? And I would do them pretty high on my funding sequence if I want to get access to capital because number one, Chase is also prone to denying people for inquiries, right? They're also prone to denying people for inquiries. Now, Barclays, right? Barclays says that you can get 1 credit card every day, right? So this is why you got to understand different bank rules because if you understand you can get 1 credit card every day, you also want to have Barclays as a part of your funding sequence on a personal side so that you can get access to capital right away because Barclays will also deny you, right, for inquiries. So you don't want to have a bunch of different inquiries as well because Barclays will also deny you, right, if you have too many inquiries. But their rule is that you can get 1 credit card every single day. Right? Now, American Express has a rule where you can get 2 charge cards every 90 days and you can get 2 credit cards every 90 days as well. Right? So now with American Express, you also can pre-qualify for American Express, right? And they have the blue everyday card. I think it's called the blue everyday card, or they have on the business side, they have a blue cash card, right? That you can also go for, right? But what happens is that with American Express, you can get 2 charge cards every 90 days. Now, this is what I would do. If I was you, I would go for the American Express. I would do the American Express personal credit card application first. Reason being is because once you get into American Express algorithm, they will only do a soft pull for the rest of their credit cards. Right? Right? Yeah, you should have tried them first because they will deny you for having too many inquiries, right? So with American Express, if you do 1 inquiry for the personal credit card and you get approved, now you're in the algorithm. So any other credit cards that you go through with American Express will be a soft pull, right? But the rule for them is, write this down, you get 2 charge cards every 90 days. Now, Navy Federal, right? There's a 91-3 rule. Now, this is what I want you to understand about Navy Federal. They just sent out an email to everybody with Navy Federal stating that they're going to start charging people daily interest. Daily. So interest daily on your balance. Right? They're going to start charging you daily interest on your balance. Now, this is what the 91-3 rule is. So every 91 days, right? Because the way that Navy Federal bank work is that they work in like a 3-month sequence, right? So every 91 days, what you want to do with Navy Federal is that you want to ask for what is called a credit limit increase, right? You want to ask for a credit limit increase every 91 days, right? So every 91 days. So every quarter, basically, right? Every 3 months, in a sense, you should be asking Navy Federal for a credit limit increase every 91 days, right? Now, another hack with Navy Federal, right, that they've been tightening up on for real is also the auto loan play. See, with Navy Federal, they have an auto loan play that's tightening up on it, right? But what you can do is, and this is for people who have high utilization. Let's say you have high utilization, right? I've had plenty of people who've had high utilization. It's like, yo, how do I pay this utilization down? Now, you have to already have an account with Navy Federal to do this. And you need to already have direct deposit with Navy Federal for some time. So anywhere from 6 months or more to have Navy Federal already, have direct deposit with them. But you can do an auto loan conversion where you can actually apply for auto loan, right? But instead of actually buying the car, you can use the cash to pay down your debt. Now, what happens is the reason I would do this is if you have high utilization is because once you pay your debt down, this is where you can go in and go for a personal loan, and you can use a personal loan, right? In a sense with the auto loan, right? You can use this as a personal loan to pay down debt. Because a lot of time when you want to go after, let's say you got high utilization, it's like, yo, I want to pay down my debt. Well, what happens is typically if you have 50, 60, 70% utilization, a lot of times you're going to get denied, right, for personal loans or anything of that sort. So one of the things you can do with Navy Federal, if you already have direct deposit, been there with them for 6 months or more, you can leverage the auto loan conversion and leverage that to pay down your debt, right? And then what you do is once you pay down debt, you can pretty much go in and kind of get other access to funding as well, right? FMBO, right? You can get one personal credit card with FMBO, which is another rule, and you can also get one business card with FMBO as well. So FMBO, right? First National Bank of Omaha, you can get one personal credit card, one business credit card. That's their rule, right? Elon Financial, you can do 2 applications with Elon Financial back to back. Right? You can do 2 applications with Elon Financial back to back. Now, another thing with Elon Financial is that they service so many different banks. And then U.S. Bank also owns Elon Financial, right? So they service a lot of different banks. So what happens is that when you really go in for Elon Financial, after you kind of get 2 or 3 credit cards with them, they're going to start reducing and giving you less limits or even start denying you as well. Now with Capital One, you can get 2 credit cards every 6 months with Capital One. Right? You can get 2 credit cards every 6 months with Capital One. Now, another thing about Capital One is that you can either get 2 credit cards with them every 6 months or you can get a credit limit increase. So if you go for a credit limit increase with Capital One, you will not be able to get another credit card. Right? So just understand that you can get 2 credit cards with Capital One every 6 months or you can go after credit limit increases. Right? But just understand you can't do both. So just deciding if you already have a Capital One credit card, right, then understand if you already have a Capital One credit card and you go for a credit limit increase, you're not going to be able to go for another credit card with them at the time. But if you have Capital One, you can go for 2 credit cards every 6 months with them. Right? Now, what you got to understand is beyond that, right, there's different funding sequences and really this is based upon understanding who pulls from what reporting agency, right? So what reporting agency pulls, like what bank pulls from what reporting agency, right? What's easier, increase or another card? It just depends on your situation, right? Depending on how you build out. The thing I don't like about Capital One is that they pull from all 3. So they're going to pull, that's another thing. Capital One pulls from all 3 banks. all 3 reporting agencies. They pull from TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax when you do an application, right? So for your increases, sometimes you can do soft if you block, and you have to block, block the reporting agencies, right? You have to block the reporting agencies and then try to do so with Capital One, you want to do an increase if you can, but you want to call in and do the increase. You want to block TransUnion, block Equifax, block Experian, and ask them to do an increase based upon your spending habits, right? So whenever you're going after increases for credit cards, another major hack with that is that you want to ask them to do an increase predicated on your actual spending habits, right? And so just if you know who they're going to pull from, sometimes you want to block that reporting agency, ask for the increase, and then ask them to do it based upon your spending habits, right? And that's really good if you're maxing cards out and then paying them off. Maxing them out, paying it off, maxing them out, paying it off, because it shows the bank or shows the reporting, it shows the bank that, hey, look, I need more access to capital. I'm maxing this card every single month, but I'm paying it off in full. Right now, what happens is, right, so that you have different reporting agencies. You got TransUnion, we have Experian, we have Equifax, right? So let's start with Equifax, right? So with Equifax, right, one of the banks that pulls from Equifax is Truist, right? Now, with Truist, you can get 4 personal credit cards and you can get a personal loan, right? Now, the thing about Truist is that it's a regional bank, so it's geo-restricted. right? So it's certain areas that Truist will rock with, certain areas they won't. Like, Maryland, they rock with Maryland. They rock with Florida, right? But if you're in like Wyoming or Colorado, they don't rock with those areas. So, what you got to understand is that Truist is really geo-restricted, right? And if they're geo-restricted, it doesn't mean that if you get a shelf corporation or any of that you're also going to automatically get applied. Because even when banks are geo-restricted, one of the things you got to realize is that you have to still be within that funding blueprint, right? And it depends on where you fall in that funding blueprint. So that's something that's really important with Truist. You can get full personal credit cards, a personal loan. You can also pre-qualify for that, right? So that's Truist. Another bank that pulls from Equifax is PenFed Credit Union, right? Now, PenFed also pretty much goes off the FICO 9 scoring model. So that's another thing that's very important when you think about different banks. Different banks go off of what we call different scoring models. Some do the FICO 9, some do FICO 8, some do FICO 10, right? Most of them never do Vantage. Most banks never do Vantage. So that's why I don't believe in Credit Karma or the credit score that you get from your free banks. From the banks for free, because most of those are giving you scores from Vantage, right? If you're doing credit-wise with Capital One, they're giving you a Vantage score. If you're doing Smart Credit, if you're doing My Free Score Now, if you're doing any of those as a credit monitoring source, they give you what is called Vantage scores. The number one thing that you want to do with funding is you want to make sure that you check your FICO score model. So what's really good is going to either you can go to MRSBSIQ.com and you can pull your FICO scoring model for $1. MRS as in Sam, B as in boy, S as in Sam, IQ.com, MrSBSIQ.com, and you can get your FICO 8 scoring model for $1 for the first 7 days. But what that will give you is all 3 reporting agencies, and it'll tell you what your FICO 8 scoring model is, which is more closer to what banks look at when they're pulling for actual funding, right? So you can even do that. You can go to MyFICO. MyFICO is pretty good, right? MyFICO, it's like $40 a month. You can also get your FICO scores from there, or you can go to Experian and do the paid version. You can go to Experian and do the paid version. You'll get access to your FICO scores, right? So PenFed, boom, they have a FICO 9 score model. You can pre-qualify with them. Another major key to getting into PenFed is that you can basically join the American Consumer Council. The American Consumer Council is a way you can is a backdoor method that you can get access to a bunch of different credit unions, right? With the American Consumer Council, right? And they pull from Equifax, right? But you can get 3 lending products with one pull. 3 lending products with one pull with PenFed. 3 lending products, one pull from Equifax. The backdoor method in is to be able to go to the American Consumer Council, right? Another credit union that pulls from Equifax is Langley Federal Credit Union, right? They have a soft pull that you can do as well, right? You can pre-qualify for their credit cards, their personal loans, and their auto loans as well. And they also do personal and business, but they pull from Equifax. So Langley Federal Credit Union is really good as well. Another credit union is Justice Federal Credit Union, right? Now, why am I giving you credit unions? Why am I going straight to credit unions? Because a lot of time, most of you on here, your report is not built up where you can go get $250,000 to $500,000. When you're building, it's best to build and start with credit unions, right? So Justice Federal Credit Union. Now, what's so sick and what's so crazy about Justice Federal Credit Union, right, is check this out. Your hard pull is good for 90 days. 90 days. So now it's good the best to have 700 plus scores, but your hard pull with Justice Federal Credit Union is for 90 days, right? Now another credit union from where I'm from, back home in Maryland, right? For those of you who's on Baltimore from here, is CQ, right? CQ, you can do 1 credit pull. They pull from Equifax, right? And you can get 3 lending products, right? And your hard pull is good for 30 days. Now, this is the thing about credit unions you got to understand. When you're doing a hard pull with a credit union, right, and it's good for, like Justice Federal Credit Union is good for 90 days, or with CQ is good for 30 days. What that means is that if you do an application today, that application today, let's say you go back a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks from now, they're going to use that same inquiry to see if you qualify for any other lending products, right? They're going to see if you qualify for other lending products, but they're going to use the same inquiry. Now, Justice Federal Credit Union, if your hard pull is good for 90 days, that means that for 3 months, you can use the same hard pull. You can use the same hard pull for 3 months, and they're going to give you access to multiple lending products, right? So these are things you got to understand. Now, Interior Federal Credit Union, right? Same thing. You can get 1 pull from Equifax. You can get 3 products, right? And usually you can get a personal line of credit with them, right, for $15K, and you can also get a $15,000 credit card with them as well. Right? $15,000 credit card with them, with Interior Federal Credit Union, they pull from Equifax, and a $15,000 personal line of credit. Right? Now, if you want the data points, like, yo, what do I put on the application? How do I fill this out? You got to comment SBS so you can get access to the free class. When I go through the class, 3 products with Justice or Langley. Langley gives you, you can get personal and business with Langley. They do a soft pull. You can get credit cards, personal loans, and auto loans, right? With Justice Federal Credit Union, their hard pull is good for 90 days, but you can still get multiple products. The reason that the hard pull is good for 90 days is so you can get multiple products. Now, if you want data points, like, hey, what do I put on the applications? You got to comment SBS and get access to the free class, right? But that's a bag just from Equifax alone, right? That's a bag just from Equifax. If you think about, okay, boom, 15K you can get 30K with Interior Federal Credit Union, right? You can get 73K with PenFed. That alone is over 100K on one reporting agency. See, what I'm giving y'all today, it says 100K in funding. I'm giving you 100K per reporting agency. So really it's going to be like 300K, and this is all on the personal funding. We ain't even get to the business side yet. Now, Experian, right? These are some of the banks that, we can tap on Experian. X1, Robinhood, right? You get a soft pull approval, right? And it's based off personal bank account. So right now it's paused, but it's based upon your personal bank account, but they also pull from Experian. Another major credit union, right, is Key Point Credit Union, right? Key Point Credit Union, right? They do a pre-qualification of all 4 products, right? You can get 1 credit card, a personal loan. You can get let me show you, because I got this stuff written down. You can get a credit card, personal loan, line of credit, or auto loan just with the pre-qualification. Just with the pre-qualification. Check this out. So you can go to Key Point Federal Credit Union, right? And they when they do the pre-qualification, it's through auto reset. Right? So you're going to notice that some banks do like auto reset, right? And any banks that use auto reset, basically when you do the data points with them, it's going to still be the same thing if you go to another bank that uses auto reset for the pre-qualification as well. Now, with Key Point Federal Credit Union, you can do 1 pre-qualification and qualify for a credit card, an auto loan, a personal loan, and a line of credit, all with 1 pre-qualification. And look, the backdoor method to getting in is the Financial Fitness Association. So the financialfitnessassociation.org. So you can go to financialfitnessassociation.org, and that's your backdoor in to being able to get access to Key Point Federal Credit Union. And you can do 1 pre-qualification and qualify for auto loan, personal loan, credit card, and a line of credit. 1 pull from Experian, right? Okay, Nassau Federal Credit Union, right? Nassau, you can do a pre-qualification as well, right? That pre-qualification will qualify you for an auto loan, a credit card, personal loan, and a personal line of credit. So, right, auto loan, personal loan, line of credit, right, and you can do a pre-qualification, right? Another one is Dover Federal Credit Union. Dover Federal Credit Union, right, you can do a pre-qualification. That's for a credit card and a personal loan. And the reason I'm sticking to the credit unions, right, because most of you need to build with credit unions. Your PNCs, Bank of America's, your Chase, Wells Fargo's, those are your major banks. The best thing to do is build with the credit unions first, get the higher limits, right? Where the business banks. This personal funding, Nisha, right? So this is good for you to build with credit unions first, get the higher limits already reporting on your credit report. Then you want to go to some of those major banks, the Chase, the Wells Fargo, the Bank of America's, because now you're going to have what is called comparable credit. See, if you have comparable credit, you can go to some of these major banks and you'll get access, right, to larger lines because they already seen that you're banking with credit unions and getting access to this, right? Now, another credit union is PSECU, right? You can get 3 products with 1 hard pull, right? They will also hard pull for the membership as well. So with PSECU, they will hard pull for the membership, but your hard pull is good for 30 days. So if your hard pull is good for 30 days, what does that mean? That means you can do a hard pull for the membership, and then you can go in and apply for 3 products, up to 3 products on that 1 hard pull, and they also gave you membership as well, right? Right now, another credit union is Service Credit Union, right? Their hard pull is good for personal and business for 90 days. Service Credit Union, hard pull is good for personal and business, right? For 90 days. So there you go. It's a business, right? Service Credit Union. Hard pull is good for personal and business for 90 days. You get multiple products. The backdoor method into Service Credit Union is the American Consumer Council. There you go again. So if you go through the American Consumer Council, you'll get the backdoor method to a lot of credit unions, as well as if you do the financialfitnessassociation.org. Financialfitnessassociation.org is for $8 for the year, and you'll get access to tons of credit unions. Same thing with American Consumer Council. That's the backdoor method into a lot of different credit unions as well. Right? Now they have American Express. So American Express, you can do one pull from Experian, and you can get up to 4 products. Right? But like I told you guys, you can get 2 charge cards every 9 days from American Express, but they do pull from Experian as well. And then you have Northrop Grumman Credit Union. You can get 1 credit card, line of credit with 1 pull. Right? And the backdoor method for them is the Southern California Historical Aviation Foundation. Right? So that's Experian. Right? What's next? Right? TransUnion. Right? Now, mind you, I done gave y'all, that's another over 100K for Experian. I done gave y'all over $200,000 just in personal funding. We ain't even get to it. What was the name? It's the American Consumer Council. American Consumer Council. Okay? TransUnion. What's the options? The Apple Card. Now with the Apple Card, you just have to have a iPhone, or you don't even have to have an iPhone. You just need to have an iCloud account. Right? If you have an iCloud account, you can pre-qualify for the Apple Card. Right? You can pre-qualify for the Apple Card. It's a soft pull, and then pretty much you just go through the application on an iPhone, iPad, MacBook, as long as you have an iCloud account. So if you have an Android, for all you Androiders, set up an iCloud, right? And you can basically set up an iCloud account, and you can also pre-qualify for the Apple credit card as well. Right? Veridian Federal Credit Union. This is Veridian Federal Credit Union. They do 1 hard pull. It's good for 30 days. The backdoor method is that you can do $5 Habitat for the Humanity for membership. And the soft pull is good for the credit card, the auto loan, and the personal loans as well. Right? Now, Lightstream. Lightstream is a bank I always talk about. Even if you go on my 2024 results, we've gotten literally over $500,000 to $1 million funded just in Lightstream this year, right? Now, with Lightstream, it's not a soft pull, but you can ask for anywhere from 35 to 50K, right? 35 to 50K, and it's good to ask for the auto loan, because what the thing with Lightstream is this: you can do an auto loan, and they will drop the money right into your account. You don't even have to buy the car, right? So 35 to 50K. Right? 35 to 50K. It's a hard pull, right, from Lightstream, right? And literally it's best to do the auto loan because they're going to drop the money right into your account. So you can do 35 to 50K. Another thing with Lightstream is that some people double dip with Lightstream and get up to 90,000, right? So the ways you double dip is that you can basically do 2 applications with Lightstream, 1 for auto loan, and you could also do 1 for debt consolidation. You can do a double dip, get up to 90K. It's 1 hard pull on TransUnion. Double dip with Lightstream. 90K. Make sure you do each application from 35 to 50K. They pull from Lightstream, right? It's 1 hard pull, but one should be for the auto loan. The other one should be for the debt consolidation or the personal loan play, right? Another one is Alliant, right? Alliant also pulls from TransUnion. You can do 1 credit card, 1 personal loan, or 1 pull. So 1 credit card, 1 personal loan, right? They have SunEast. SunEast is 3 products that you can get with just 1 pull, right? Now, Fidelity. Fidelity is really key because you can open up a brokerage account. You can open up a brokerage account with Fidelity, right? You can drop, a couple $100 in there, a couple $100 in the Fidelity account, and then you can pretty much go for their Fidelity card, right? And then with Navy Federal, if you already have an account with Navy Federal, and my thing is, if you already got direct deposit, you can also go on NavyFederal.org. Before you log in, if you go to NavyFederal.org, you don't log in. You go to loans and credit cards. Go to pre-qualify me. There's going to be a button in loans and credit cards where it says pre-qualify me. You can hit that button if you're already a Navy Federal member, and you can pre-qualify for their credit card as well. Right? So these are the different things that, really, right, allow you to leverage funding, because it's understanding what banks are going to pull from what reporting agencies, right? And this is what's so important. See, everything that I gave is really about the credit unions. Now, if you think about my mindset with banks, right, it's understand that same thing, that certain banks do not pull from all 3. They might pull from TransUnion, they might pull from Equifax, they might pull from Experian. Another thing about banks is that they might pull from these pull from these different reporting agencies depending on where you're located, right? So this is very, very important. Depending on where you located, it depends on where they might actually pull from, right? Now, what happens is when you're going through these funding sequences and you need data points, hey, what do I put on the application? Like I said, comment SBS, come to the free class. I give you all the data points on exactly what to do, not only for the personal funding, but also for the business funding as well, right? And so this is what you got to understand about funding, right? Now, when it comes to building out your report, a lot of times people have negative items, right? You also need to come to the class this weekend because this Sunday, I'm going to teach you step by step how to remove all negative items in 4 business days using AI. So when you use AI to remove these negative items and draft up your affidavits, that's very key as well, because now you want to also use affidavits to remove negative items, because understand this, when it comes to banks and credit unions, they want to see that when they lend out money, that you're someone that's responsible. You have to treat banks as your business partners. See, every bank is a relationship that you want to build because you want to treat them as business partners and you want to be able to go in and get access to capital. The major part about that is making sure you don't have negative items on your credit. Right? So prayerfully, y'all got some game from that, right? What I want you to do is drop SBS in the comments so that you can learn pretty much step by step how to get up to $500,000 in funding, personal and business, and how to remove negative items in four days using AI. Right now, if you got game from this and you like, okay, I want to tap into the mentorship, all you got to do is DM me the word diamond. DM me the word diamond or DM me diamond. A diamond or DM me the word diamond if you want to get access to the mentorship, right? Because what I'm doing is something back. I'm doing something for back to school, right? For back to school for all the moms and, pretty much for all the, people that's out here hustling, getting to it. I know back to school time is coming up, but one of the biggest things is that we need to tap in and get our credit fixed and get access to capital win. Now, see, it's no opportunity wasted. See, success loves speed. It's how fast can you do it? And I know that a lot of people are going back to school, but you're going to need capital. Because think about it like this. 2025 is literally less than 5 months away. It's like 4 or 5 months away. We got it's September, October, November, December. So it's 5 months away. 2025 is up. So right now is a time that if you did not take, you didn't take it seriously, getting your credit fixed, putting yourself in a better position. If you're not taking it seriously now, you can really take it seriously today and get over $250,000 by 2025. So you can take your credit seriously today. And by 2025, get anywhere from $250,000 to $500,000 in funding, and you can start and scale and grow your business. So, comment SBS if you want access to the free class, and if you want to tap into the mentorship in the back to school, DM me the word diamond. Y'all comment, DM me diamond. DM me diamond. So, I appreciate y'all for tapping in. Once again, success loves speed, no opportunity wasted, and it's what are you willing to give up so you can go up? Everybody want to go up, but what are you willing to give up so you can go up? So I appreciate y'all for tapping in. Let's get this money. I'll see y'all out. And this is Free Game Friday, and I'm going to come every single Friday and give y'all a free game, right? How to get funding, clean your credit, how to position yourself, how to start different businesses. But just expect me coming every single Friday giving y'all a straight free game. So yeah, you want to tap into the mentorship, DM me Diamond. If you want to tap into the free class we got this Sunday where I break down how to get up to $500,000 in funding, clean your credit in 4 days, comment the word SBS or DM me SBS. We out.